You may notice a green blinking light next to this lock button. A level 1 fault is when your controller senses moisture in the 12-pin connection at the top to the harness. When it senses that moisture, it will give you that error code and lock out a few sections of your assembly. The level 1 fault does not lock out your interior switches forever. As long as your system has not sensed moisture for at least 100 seconds, you can come to the touch panel and press any button or power cycle your controller by turning it off and then back on, and that will clear the level 1 fault and you can use your system as normal. You can also experience what's called a level 2 fault, and this is when your controller senses moisture either in the controller or at the touchpad. The symptoms for this fault is that your extend switch, your light switch, and that green LED at the lock will also blink. The reason that your controller is preventing you from operating at the touchpad is because it's trying to prevent damage while the moisture is inside the system. To unlock the controller, you have to press the buttons in a specific sequence, and you do that by pressing extend, retract, the light switch, the wind sensor button, and then pressing and holding the lock button for 10 seconds or until that blinking lock button turns to a solid green light. After you've pressed that sequence, you can operate the awning, but after you have not pressed the button for 3 seconds, the system will automatically relock if it still senses any moisture in the control board or the touchpad. If your system continually senses a fault code 1 or fault code 2, you may need to perform a moisture mitigation procedure. You can find that documentation on our support site if you feel confident performing this, or you can contact a service center and they can perform it for you. If you're inspecting your touchpad to see if this procedure has been done, remove your touchpad and harness, and then you can check to see if any liquid tape sealer has been applied to your harness connections. While everything's disassembled, you can check for dielectric grease at your connection, and there should also be some in your control board. The last error code you might run into is the low voltage error code. You'll know it's a low voltage error code by the blinking LED light next to the lock button, and none of your functions will be locked out. So you may be able to extend your awning, but it will work intermittently. If you get this error code, you'll want to go to your battery and make sure that all of your connections are proper and in good condition and tight after travel. Then you can also make sure that you're charging your battery. If your battery is not maintaining a charge, it's a sign that it's no longer in good condition and will need replaced. Now, some of you may be thinking, Emily, I have a one control touch panel. Does that change what these error codes will mean to me? And the short answer is no. Your system might work intermittently, so you could have the one control panel extend your awning and stop halfway through. And that's because that moisture is preventing a good communication between your controller and your one control touch panel.